Very good evening, everybody, and thank you so much for being here. I think this is the last session of the webinar series where we are going to discuss about the technology and consumers, especially during the COVID-19 and what is going to happen, as in what will be the future trends as well. So thank you, Sonal. Thank you, Poonam. Thank you, Varul. You may convey my regards to him as well for inviting me. It's always a pleasure to be with all of you. And it's always a pleasure to share the knowledge and, build upon it further. So I'll share the last series we discussed about. First, we started with consumer behavior, then we had a discussion on branding, then advertising, and today I'm just wrapping it up with the technology and the consumers and what is the role of technology in this particular era of COVID-19 and how it is going to help. So, with that thought, let me just start the session and probably take you through the entire journey of technology and consumers, maybe so as to say. And probably I would suggest that if you have any questions, anything which you want to discuss, we can take it up and I can also discuss it with you via email or maybe offline whenever you need any help. I would be happy to help in whatever regard I can in whatever capacity, because these are the areas under which a lot of work we are doing, because the future will be all about the digital and technology era, and how consumers are going to behave, how consumers are going to change in terms of their lifestyle, in terms of their social values, their thinking, their way of consuming brands and products. That's also going to change drastically. So I would like to mention before I start, it was like maybe 4 years ago when I was working on my book with one of my co-author in the US at Northwestern, and we forecasted at that point of time that what will be more important in coming years will be the digital footprints, which will be very important for the consumers, not the physical well-being, how they look, how they see themselves in the physical world will not be so important. And I think that is where we are right now. In the coming years, it will be very important that how consumers feel themselves on their digital footprint. That's going to be very important for them rather than their physical state of mind or their physical well-being. So with that thought, I think it's very important for us as the part of the brand management or the advertising fraternity to understand what are those changes and how we can actually communicate and advertise to these people in a way which can help them, as well as it could be a win-win situation even for the industry. So with that thought, let me just give you a thought which is about, more how the individuals thinks, how do they search, and it is no longer the resources that limit the decision. It is the decision that make the resources. I think this is a very important aspect which I wanted to say, because it's all the decisions that we have to make, and the decisions are being made very quickly in the fraction of second in the digital world. And those decisions are basis the resources which are being available. So let us start. So internet, that's the new lifeline which is there, so as to say. And what is this lifeline? Let us discuss that. So there is a rising of digital natives. So who are these digital natives? Digital natives are not the people who are belonging to generation Y or the young adults, but I would say we are redefining digital natives, and probably that is the whole orientation with which we wrote our books and chapters and did the research, that digital natives is any individual who actually comes on the digital platforms and they are into the different kind of activities, and the habits are being formulated around these platforms which are related to the life, work, shopping, learning, playing everything. So everything happens on the digital world. As you see from the, and this is happening across the globe. This is not only in India, but various countries of the world. And so if I have to give you some figures, here are some of the figures. Online delivery, which was seen in the last 10 years, has been seen in the last 8 weeks. So this is the rate at which it has increased. Telemedicine has increased 10 times in the last 15 days. Remote working has been increased by 20 times in the last 3 months. Online entertainment has shown the figures within 5 months, which was not even there in the 7 months. This has affected even Disney and Netflix a lot. And consumers have, changed a lot in decade, uh, which was not happening earlier, and they've adapted very quickly through the technology. Here, I would also like to mention that in few of our research which we have done, especially with the digital natives, and we very soon intend to come with the second book, which will talk about the marketing management, all the aspects of marketing, including advertising as well, that how it can be done in the digital context. So here, when we were working, we realized that the generation Y is actually helping the generation X and the baby boomers, because there they are helping them to adapt to the technology. They're helping them to use the platforms. So they are also trying to use the platform basis the speciality of the platform. Now, what does that mean? It means that if you are on Twitter, it is made for a specific purpose for which digital natives have started using. If you're using Facebook, it is more of connections, your older friends, communicating with them. And nostalgia has a very high dimension when it comes to Facebook. So digital natives have started using all these platforms in that specific specialized format. And the kind of content which they post on those platforms are also very specific to that particular platform and the speciality of that channel. If I have to say Instagram primarily people use for lifestyle and travel and cooking and all of that. So a lot of celebrities have started using that kind of Instagram. LinkedIn is especially used for the professional world to connect with the professionals, and they have started using those channels in that format. So they have also adapted through the technology basis, the kind of technological ecosystem, if I would have to say, which is available to the digital natives. And they're trying to help the earlier generations also, so that they are able to use the technology and the technological platform in a proper and efficient way. So here what happens is for consumers, technology becomes a facilitator, because without technology, it just seems to be a little challenging for all the people to manage their life and probably work, especially in the COVID scenario. And in fact, after the COVID-19 also, technology is going to be the facilitator for the consumers. So here are some of the parameters which is going to help us, which is all the dimensions related to technology innovation in the context of consumers. So if I have to start with the consumer sentiment, so that is quite optimistic, because the prediction is that there would be a V-shaped recovery, especially in the context of India. And people would recover by today. Only I was reading McKinsey report, and they did a study on when this pandemic is going to end. So the first part was that it is primarily going to show the recovery by early next year, and probably by end of next year we will see that the optimistic environment is being created in the market as well as in the industry. If I have to tell you about the needs, here the need is more about connections, because most of the people, in fact, I can quote the studies even from the US, Europe and other parts of the world, where they feel disintegrated because they only have one platform to connect, which is digital, which is through technology. But in a way, they feel very isolated, because they are not able to meet a lot of people. So basic human social needs are not being fulfilled. That is why they are using technology to connect with different people. They try to connect online. So I think that part is going to be very critical for the consumers to have the digital experience. The mood is more about going back, reflecting, coming back and seeing that what next they can do. And the attitude is all about more sustainable experience, as we have seen. And we discussed also in our last session, where the future will be more about the sustainability part, where consumers are going to decide that I want to take this particular airline, probably depending upon the carbon footprints that particular flight is going to make, not on the basis of the price or the quality. This is already happening in the US, and I think that would happen in our country as well eventually. So that is the individual level. Then the community level, how much the products and the brands are affecting the consumption or the disposition of that particular product at the community level, and then at a country level and the social level. So I think that kind of awareness is already there among the consumers, and that has been exaggerated further with the technology, because they keep sharing about the disposition of the products, how it is affecting the environment, and how we can actually control that while we are using the products and the services. And of course, they are looking for the solutions which are quite digital and contactless, because anyways, during this COVID-19, the physical distancing is very important, and that's how they are able to manage their work and what the activities they are doing. And in terms of the activities, I think in the last session we discussed about H&H model, which was more about the home and the health part. And that is exactly what the consumers are going to do and are doing, which is related to the home activities which they can manage at home. And it is quite health oriented, because they want to be careful about their lifestyle. The kind of products and services, of course, they're looking for those kind of products which are food essentials, snacks, which they can consume at home, and entertainment, of course, because it's becoming very important for them to entertain themselves. And in most of the some of the research which was done recently in the US, people have realized that they could not live even with their partners, because they never lived with them in one particular place. They never shared their spaces ever. And now they're doing all of that in that particular house, and that leads to a lot of dissonance, and people are not happy about that as well. So, those are the changes which are happening. I'll give you example for each of the components. For example, if the sentiments of the consumers and the technology has to be there. So the first thing which the people, all of us are looking is for the vaccine and the preventions and the drugs that can help us to cure this COVID-19. For that, I think the technology is helping very well, because that's how the optimistic environment has been created by the companies, and the vaccines hopefully should be out by early next year. So, considering that aspect of the sentiment, if I look at the needs of the consumers, they always feel that they should be connected, because anyways, in the COVID scenario, as well as in the future COVID scenario, it will be important for them to be connected through technology. So that is something which is going to happen. So here is an example of Netflix party, which is like a way in which the Netflix is actually organizing the parties, synchronizing the video playbacks, adding the groups, hosting the long distance movie nights, and TV watch parties have been organized so that people feel connected. People feel that, okay, this is the place where we can actually socialize, connect with the people, and have some parties and just do the hangout. So Netflix has actually leveraged that very nicely, and it's becoming very good for the consumers to just go online and just do the parties with Netflix. In terms of the mood and technology, I think this is the latest version of Apple, which is iWatch Series 6, which brings the oxygen monitor and tracks the level of oxygen in the human blood. So this is something which is quite interesting. Again, it goes back to the well-being of the consumers, where the physical well-being, social well-being, mental well-being, as well as digital well-being is very important for them, because they have to keep track of what is happening with the blood oxygen as well. So this is something which has been offered by Apple, which is very much appreciated by the consumers. If we discuss about the consumer attitudes and the technology, which is about the sustainability part. So here is an example coming from Amazon. Amazon has actually said that they will be carbon neutral by 2040, which is really very interesting, because they're going to work on the green technology. And the company is going to invest a lot on that particular technology, especially for transportation, logistics, energy, storage, manufacturing, food and agriculture. And this particular part of sustainability is becoming so important in different areas besides Amazon, because people have become very conscious, and if the consumers become conscious, then that affects the companies and the industry. So that is going to be significant changes with the companies are going to make in terms of the sustainability and their sustenance in the business. In terms of the consumer solutions, I think robotics will play an important role. So here, again, the drones are going to be very important. So here is an example from the UK, where there's a cart-like robot which actually provides the food to different people who are in the quarantine and the containment zone. And that is how the contactless deliveries are being done by robots and the drones. And here is a drone which is actually being used to keep a check on whether the people are violating the rules, whether they're staying at home or not. And a lot of drones are being used even by the government, as well as different private companies which are being hired to keep a check on the citizens. So here, I think that will be the future, because most of the companies will be they've already started using drones for the home deliveries as well in different parts of the world. In terms of the consumer activities, as I was discussing, that it will be very home activities. So here is an example about the home cooking and the healthy cooking as well. So there is a Tata Sampann Masale, which is actually collaborated with Sanjeev Kapoor, and they actually came up with different type of immunity boosting recipes, which people are going online and they are learning, so which are easy to cook, and they are healthier, and they actually provide the recipe. So here I would like to bring two more points. One is that immunity boosting is something which can be done by the ingredients like garlic, ginger, and all of that, and even Ayurveda, which India is known for. Now here, what is important is the immunity booster, and that could be good for the advertising world as well, which is then alternative medicines which people are actually using. For example, turmeric, for example, tulsi, all of that. So this is actually originated from India, and if we can brand it properly, I think that would be really good for our own country, and as well as the positioning of the different brands and the companies can be done in that way. So alternate, medicines, alternate remedies, that is something which can be developed. And we were discussing yesterday only with some of my co-authors in the US, and we were discussing that how we can actually develop and brand that particular part which originated from India, and maybe communicate it globally, because most of the time what is not happening, unfortunately, with us in our country is that we have a very specialized areas. For example, we are known for Ayurveda, we're known for hospitality, we're known for IT, but unfortunately it's not been branded so well globally. And that is where the communication has to be so strong, so that everybody knows about what we have in our country and what we can offer. So I think that is the time, and here is the time, especially for Ayurveda and the immunity boosting part, is as the natural remedies which can be branded very easily from India. So I think that is very helpful. Another part is another example which I wanted to mention about is the mask and the makeup, because a lot of people have started wearing masks. So what they need to do is they of course have to use a very strong, maybe eye makeup so as to be visible or maybe more beautiful besides wearing the mask as well. So here what has happened is a lot of companies like L'Oreal have started focusing on it, and then what has happened is with that particular strong makeup for the eye, there is also some image which we are studying along with that, which is one of my student from the PhD program of Micah. She's studying that how people are depicting with this particular change on Instagram, how people are coming up and saying that how this identity is being portrayed when different type of eye makeups are being used, how AR and VR is helping them, how MR mixed reality is also helping them. And then probably that would help us to understand as marketers that how technology is also making the consumers more individualistic in nature, which was not the scenario earlier. And in terms of the demand and the technology, the fitness, of course, and the wellness is very important for them. So here is an example for the Nike Training Club app, which is actually providing them the seamless workouts, progressive training programs, and they are doing it by themselves, because do it by yourself is something which is coming up in a big way. And that's how consumers have changed and they started using technology for themselves and their wellness. The other part of the presentation which I was mentioning was the future trends, and that is very important to understand what is going to happen now after a while, maybe 2 to 3 months or maybe early next year. So this is what is going to happen, and here are some of the bullet points which we could curate basis our work which we're doing globally and connecting with different type of industries. First is the social commerce. So here we are doing some work on social commerce, and what we realize is if you want to develop the consumer engagement, probably e-commerce is not going to help, but what is going to help is the social commerce. So I'll go deeper in each of the points in my subsequent slides, but I'll try to provide an overview right now. And then move to fintech. I think the finance will be also related to technology. This is where consumers will become more individualistic. More usage of robotics, drones and AI will be there. Here I would put up a caution, because what we are also finding in our few studies which we're doing on consumer services, especially in our country, we're finding that if it is a transaction driven kind of a scenario, then consumers like to do it by AI or by robots. But if it is beyond it, then probably they want the human intervention. Which means what? Which means that we are at an initial stage of that particular research, but what we're finding is that these consumers want human interventions along with the technology. So again, it goes back to our first session where we were discussing about the HDD model, which is the human digital connection. So human interventions have to be there along with the technology, at least for the developing nations, emerging nations, collectivistic countries and cultures. This is something which is quite important, because we are still collectivistic. We may show our collectivism on social media, on a digital platform, but that trait is still there with the digital natives. And here I would also like to give you another example. Yesterday in the night, we were having a discussion with ex-Mike, and I think she's working with Amazon. And she was telling me that, on LinkedIn, as we have started using AI, which is quite number driven, which is depending upon the fans, depending upon what is happening, everything is curated around the number. So is that about the content which is important? Is it about something else, or it has to be number driven? So how they are deciding the viral advertising even on LinkedIn, is that a right format? So we were having a discussion, and then she said that why don't we do a study quickly from the industry as well as the user side and try to figure out how AI should work, and what are the ways in which human intervention should be there along with the AI, so that it gives a holistic understanding about the area, about the content, about the consumers and their feelings. So probably by this weekend we are going to finalize all of that. But I strongly believe that the AI, especially for the collectivistic cultures, countries that are emerging, including India, we need to use the HD model, which is the human interventions have to be there along with the AI. Then the next point is about the hybrid working. I think this is going to be the future, because a lot of people are going to work in a hybrid format along with the conventional companies and businesses, including like TCS has already gone for the hybrid working. Then L&T has gone for a hybrid working. Facebook, Google, of course, they have said very clearly that that's the format that they're going to use, and that will be the future, more or less. It seems like that. Another trend which is going to emerge is the online informational event, where people will curate the information online which is relevant for them. This is very important, because everything, they are overloaded with information. The problem is not about information anymore. The problem is about having a relevant information and the textual contextual information. At that point of time, what I'm looking for example, if people are looking for, say, sanitizers, they don't want to see an ad of say fitness products, maybe, because that state of mind is not there. So they want a very relevant kind of a content. And of course entertainment, because they would like to do the entertainment online. So that will be the future. Digital and e-learning is going to shape up in a big way, because I'm going to explain how social learning, how adaptive learning, how vicarious learning will be used in the coming time, and the consumers will do the learning by themselves by digital platform. Telehealth is another example, where people are going to manage everything online by themselves, and they don't have to visit the doctors. So they can do all the interactions digitally, and I think that would really help. And the last point is about the digital well-being. So I was discussing the 4 types of well-being about the consumers: physical well-being, social well-being, mental well-being, and fourth one is the digital well-being. Of late, what has happened is that a lot of people are getting Zoom fatigue. I'm sure we all of us have experienced that every day. So that digital well-being is also very important aspect, which will be considered as the future trends when I have to discuss about the consumers and technology. So each of these points, I'm going to explain how does that matter and how it works. So e-commerce to social commerce, as I was mentioning earlier, that how e-commerce will be changed to social commerce. So here is where the social commerce will offer more promises. It will be more seamless engagement. This we have found in the US, where they have moved from e-commerce to social commerce, and the engagement level of the consumers are really very high. Another study which we were doing on engagement was that people really feel disengaged and low engaged with a lot of irrelevant advertisements and the content. And when you convert that to the social commerce, I think the engagement level goes up. So this is where findings were. And we also found that mood plays an important role, what state of mind the consumers are while they're looking for that kind of a content. So this kind of social commerce will work very well for fashion, beauty, and FMCG. So for fashion and beauty also, again, I like to add that the influencers are also very important along with the social commerce. And here, influencers, when you say, then there are micro influencers, there are nano influencers. Actually, these influencers are working very well if I compare it with the celebrities. Again, over there, if you look at the segregation, it is basis the fan following and all of that. I was having a discussion again with some of my co-authors in Georgia State University, US, and we were saying that can we make a matrix which says that what sort of influencers are applicable for what kind of industry, and accordingly they should work. So that will be the future, because no more the celebrities are going to work with all these categories of fashion and beauty and all of that. What will be more reliable will be the micro influencers and the nano influencers, because they will be able to influence particular specific group of people. So that is something which is going to be there in the future. Now, another example is about the Facebook and the Instagram, where people have started with the social commerce, and they provide the step-by-step process connected with the consumers. Brands are also connected with the social media, and they actually provide a lot of avenues for the consumers to go on Instagram and Facebook. And Instagram is actually doing very well in terms of connecting it with the consumers, because the state of mind is completely different when you are on Instagram. So in terms of the fintech, I think this is where the digital payments like PayPal, which has got 20.2 million accounts in 2020 quarter. This is about 250,000 users. Which is phenomenal and very magnificent kind of contribution in terms of the user base. So that is going to be the global trend in the coming months. Again, there will be digital lending, which is more of tech-powered digital lenders will be there, which will be helping us to issue the loans and everything online. So that is going to be another trend. So here in digital investing, the investment of the platforms will aim at investing easier. Here is an example, grow.in. It's a digital investment easy format, which is quite fast, transparent, and quite effective for the consumers in India. So it's the fastest growing investment platform as of now, which has more than 1 million users. In terms of robotics and drones and AI, as I was discussing that what will be the future? So the future will be more of robotics, how you can use it at different instances like healthcare, manufacturing, and maintain the social distancing. But again, I'll put up a caution here that when you're using the technology, it depends upon the industry as well as the kind of the consumers. And if there are like consumers from our country or collectivistic culture, then probably human interventions are going to be very important, because technology by themselves are not going to help and connect with the consumers. So that is something which is quite important for the future trend. Hybrid working, again, there will be a lot of hybrid working. People will be working from the office, from different types, from home, and there will be a lot of integration. But the challenge will be like, how do I develop the culture? How do I include everybody, all the stakeholders together? And then the employee well-being, of course, is going to be very important in the coming months, where promoting collective ownership is, and accountability would be very important. And the focus, of course, has to be more on learning, unlearning, and relearning, because every time the technology changes, and you have to be very agile and adaptable to the new changes which are happening. And in terms of information and entertainment, I think this is a very interesting example, which is coming from the sensory organ, which is a digital smell technology, which allows the consumers actually to smell the flowers. And probably the gustatory technique would help the consumers to taste and smell while they are at home. The sharpness will be also there to take the sweetness of the jackfruit, and that was going to be very interesting with the digital sensory technology, and how it will shape up the consumer's mindset with the technology. So here is another example where the sensory technology will make the thing simple. It will include all the people while they are walking on a garden, maybe cooking, holding their hands, touching, or ruffling the hair. So you can see the picture where this all can happen, and overall well-being can be managed by the digital sensory technology. So this is going to be the future of the digital technology and the consumers. In terms of learning, there will be significant changes, which I'll explain one by one. In terms of the future of learning, the e-learning will have more of collaborative learning, because people would like to learn from each other through digital formats. There will be adaptive learning, which is more of resources, activities, project driven, assignment driven. Individual needs will be there. And then probably what is going to happen is a lot of people will share their experiences also. I would like to mention there will be another type of learning which is going to be very significant in future, besides the e-learning part which you see on my slide, which is the vicarious learning, which is people are going to learn from someone else's experience. So if someone has experienced a particular product or gone to a particular place, then probably they would learn from that experience as well. So that is vicarious learning. In terms of digital natives, this is going to be a significant change which they're going to make in terms of the learning processes. The other type of learning which you will see in the future will be the social learning, which is more of learning from the offline, online platforms, chat rooms, file sharing, and collaborative learning. Efficient and seamless learning will be there. And the social learning is going to be very much evident and applicable in a country like India, because people would love to learn in a group. So now in a group, it's going to be very easy to just formulate the group online and do the learning. So social learning is going to be very significant. Now social learning also have a significant role on brands and advertising, because now if you want to learn about the product, here the networks are to be studied, the strong ties and the long and the weak ties, and then maybe the KOL has to be developed in such a way, the key opinion leaders have to be identified in such a way so that the social learning can actually leverage a kind of a platform for a brand or a product. It could be travel, it could be fashion as well, because I was mentioning that these key opinion leaders will be the macro and nano influencers who can help that particular network while people are learning. So that is something which is going to be very interesting to see. And I think this kind of setup I've already seen, which is happening in China, because people have started leveraging KOL in a very big way for all the brands and industries. The other future of e-learning will be gamification, where people would love to have the games, and while playing the games, they want to learn at different instances how it would be fun for them, and probably the learning as well. So this is where the teenagers generation Z probably is going to help, and they would learn. The other part is about the social health or the telehealth. Here in telehealth, it's going to be very easy for us to have the virtual care, remote access of the doctors across the globe. This is quite convenient for the doctors, because you don't have to travel anywhere, and you just have to make the visit online. Testing, treatments, everything will be quite efficient online. And then the digital well-being. So this is quite interesting to have like digital assistant, machine learning, AI helping the consumers. And digital well-being is going to be very important. How do you make the balance between the technology and yourself? Because over a period of time, what we have realized is one of my colleague who's working on a project from Canada, we found that eventually what is happening is that human beings are also becoming like machines. They start acting like machines, and which is quite scary for all of us, because if human becomes machine, then it becomes very difficult for us to sustain. But so we have to make a balance, and that is why digital well-being plays a very important role. We use the technology, but not so much that we start thinking in those lines as well. So this is the last part of my discussion, and then maybe if you have questions, I would be happy to take your questions. In case if you have questions little later, please do not hesitate to write to me. I would be happy to help you all. So the way forward is this: survive today and thrive for tomorrow. Here, COVID-19 is like a catalyst which will be more related to adaptability and agile organizations. Technology is going to shape up the demand, of course, and operations as well, because real-time, demands will be there for the consumers, which has to be satisfied. That will be seen. Values will be redefined, and the necessities will be re-evaluated. Here, when you talk about the value system, I would also like to mention that in a country like India, I was discussing yesterday only with my doctoral students when I was teaching them about it. That the values, especially in a country like India, works at two levels. One is the core culture, the overall culture, and the second part is also very important, which is the subculture. And the third part is from where you are coming from and where you are living. So, for example, if a person from say Bengal has moved to Mumbai, they will have their cultures from Mumbai, as well as they will retain the cultures of Bengal while they would be settled in Mumbai. And you have the third culture, which is coming out from the digital formats, which is the global culture. Because you are so much on social media and digital platforms, you always want to get updated and wants to be aligned, so as to say, from the global culture. So these are the three levels of culture which affects the value system of an individual. Now when the value system has been affected, which is primarily the beliefs of an individual, that affects my production, my consumption of the products and brands. So this is quite interesting because it is becoming more like a nested value system, which was not seen earlier. I think the complexity is going to increase more because you have the ingredients and the traits of all the cultures, where your root culture, where you live, and then where you are aspiring for, maybe. So that is something which is quite interesting, which we will see in future as well. And the last part is about how it is related to the societal good about the business, and the consumers are going to become the co-producers. I think I mentioned about the brand volunteers also in my previous session, where these people are going to help the industries and the brands in a big way, and they are going to be the producers. Like they won't be the consumers anymore. They would like to co-produce the products and the services along with the companies, because they feel that they are the major stakeholder in that particular company. So to sum up, here is the spot on innovations. Here is the consumer, which is survive today and thrive for tomorrow. Partnerships and co-creations will be at a very high level, and they will reimagine the world in a very different way. So today what we are doing, we are working on incremental innovation, and the innovations are always are there in R&D, but it seems to be a little siloed, which has to be aligned together. Focus will be more on the well-being, convenience, and the perceived value. But in the coming future, the acceleration or the adoption of the new methods, technology have to be enhanced further, because this is going to be very important for various industries to have the innovation and innovations at all levels, actually. So today only, before this session, I was just completing one of my research on luxury. We work a lot in space of luxury. So we were saying that how luxury products are, especially during wedding, we did a research and we found in India that it's no more about the socialistic flaunting and conspicuous consumption, but it is also ritualistic consumption. It is also asset building consumption. It is also the consumption which is taking care of the dissonance which is created, because desperately consumers want to create that segregation of social class by using luxury and saying that here is my social class, I can afford these brands, but you cannot afford. So I want to separate you from this kind of luxury consumption, which is quite interesting. Because, and you know, there was a global study, I just wanted to mention quickly, that Instagram is a platform which actually creates, increases a lot of jealousy among the consumers, because people feel that, okay, these people can go out, these people can do a lot of work, but I cannot. So that creates a lot of jealousy. And the second platform was Facebook. So which is quite interesting, because some people desperately does that, especially when they deal with the premium brands and the luxury brands, which is again quite interesting to see. So that will be the more futuristic kind of adaptation, consumption pattern, and the digital pattern of the consumers. Then there will be broader ecosystem, of course. The So we're having a discussion at a global level with most of the people in Europe and the US, and we were saying that it will be good to have the companies to have the ecosystem at a broader level, not having the SBUs, divided across the country so that they don't fix at a particular place. And the focus will be more on the safety, remote development, and digital empathy. This is really going to be very important because as brands, as marketers, we have to be very, very careful about the digital empathy of the consumers, because that is going to be very important in the future. So what next? This is the last bit of it. This is urgency to act now, embracing the new normal. I think we all have embraced that in our different formats. And then innovation is going to be the critical part of that particular journey which we will have to do with the consumers. So that's it from my side, and if you have questions, I would be happy to take the questions. Okay. So if you have any questions, you can always write to me while working. I understand that when you work on different brands, when you deal with different industries, with different type of businesses, at that point of time also you might have different questions. I would be happy to help, and I can share my email address with all of you. I think Sonal, Poonam, and Arul, they have my email address. So you can just Google me up. I can help you at different levels. So if there are no questions, then I would like to just thank Sonal, Poonam, and Arul, especially. Thank you so much for inviting me. It's always a pleasure to be with Mudra, professionals, so that we can share our thoughts together. And thank you so much. I hope all the 4 sessions were helpful. I'll share the recording so that you can share it with your employees. Probably when they need, they can actually use it. And I will be happy to help in any capacity or way if I could, in any kind of project, or while you're dealing with different kind of clients or businesses. So thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, Varsha.
Thank you so much, Varsha. It was a pleasure, and really thank you so much for taking these sessions for us.
Thank you, Sonal, for inviting me. It's always a pleasure to be with you all.
No, we are really
I
delighted
hope
that.
that it was making sense at all levels. I tried my level best so that.
No, of course it did. It did, of course. We have been getting quite a good reviews about the sessions that you've been taking. And the recordings that you've been sharing, we've been sharing with employees as well. So even though they are not able to attend the session, they make sure that at least they are going through the recording. But thank you really for making and taking out time and taking us through your sessions. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sonal. I'm happy to know that, it is helping. And anything, if you feel that can be added or built upon, I will be happy to incorporate that, because we are also, as we were discussing last time, I'm forgetting the name, but I think one of the person from our group only mentioned that, Varsha, there is no reference point. And I agree with that, that we are living in a world where there is no reference point. So I would be happy to improvise the content and work together with you all.
Sure.
So that is what I think is the way forward.
Surely,
Because
definitely we'll be in touch with you. And
sure, definitely.
yeah,
So
thank you.
co-creation is the future. Anyway,
Yes,
Thank you, Varsha.
nobody is perfect. Everybody is learning. Every
yes.
day, every moment is a learning experience for us.
Thank you, Varsha.